Hall H, people are crammed outside. People are camped out all night. People are already in unhealthy conditions before they even get in there. So by the time they open up the doors, all these nerds and geeks, they've been sleeping in the grass. They've been rolling around in the dirt, and then they go into this room. They pretty much the last nerd to go in, they're pushing that motherfucker in with a broomstick, poking them in there, man. Oh, they put up a good fight. They held in there as long as they could, but even they could not stop the inevitable. And who were they? Of course, you might have heard the story already today. A lot of broken hearts out there, but you knew what was coming. You knew that they couldn't fight this thing out there called the corona. You mean when they putting out all these other people out of business and making them slow down? And we're talking about the mighty, mighty Comic-Con, San Diego, that is. San Diego Comic-Con 2020 has not been postponed, has not been suspended, has not even just stepped back for a cigarette and coffee break. They are canceled. And they will not be back until, hopefully, depending on how things are going, they say July of 2021. As I said, they held in there as long as they could. I believe that they were even trying to say that they were just going to be suspended. And the last thing we heard about that, they put an article out, I believe, on April 1st saying, yeah, we're hoping that we can still stay in the game. We're hoping that we can just postpone it just a little bit. But old Comic-Con ain't going nowhere. That might as well have been an April Fool's joke, because everybody knew that Comic-Con, and I'm pretty sure, even the ones that were holding out and being the most hopeful about it, everybody knew that Comic-Con was going to be canceled, man, the way things were going. I knew that this was going to happen the moment that Austin's own, I'm in Austin, Texas right now. We heard about this early. Austin's own South by Southwest had canceled. Once that juggernaut closed down, I said, these other conventions, no matter how big they are, they don't have a choice but to follow suit. And
right, yeah, it's actually really interesting you brought South by Southwest up, not to cut you off, but
no, please go ahead.
I thought of that one first because of the idea that they try to salvage it a couple weeks later by doing like that online exhibition thing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make the difference for the local economy or anything like that. I don't think that Comic-Con's going to really go that route, right? Because it's all about debuting your stuff kind of first and big budget action tent poles and stuff. And since we don't have any clarity on when that's coming out, there's probably not going to be a soft online version of Comic-Con either, right?
Wouldn't you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because yeah, there are a lot of things that they premiere at San Diego Comic-Con, and movies, even more than comic books now, are just about as equal with comic books. Movies, they are one of the biggest things at Comic-Con. And now that we don't have any strong release dates for any of these films, now that things are, theaters are in flux right now, that's taking a whole big chunk out of what makes Comic-Con Comic-Con. And plus, have you ever been to Comic-Con?
No, what's disappointing about this is like I just moved to LA and it was the year I was going to go. I used to go to New York Comic-Con all the time, which is the other big event that I think is in jeopardy, but I've never made it out to San Diego.
Well, I'll tell you, Comic-Con, man, at Comic-Con, I don't know, if you go to Comic-Con, they got Hall H, and they stuff a lot of sweaty-ass nerds up in there, man. I mean, I'm surprised that diseases have not been born in that room. They stuff all these people in these hot-ass costumes, and they put all these people in this room. And I was just saying, there's no way. I mean, at any convention, you got people sitting very close quarters, but in Hall H, people are crammed outside. People are camped out all night. People are already in unhealthy conditions before they even get in there. So by the time they open up the doors, all these nerds and geeks, they've been sleeping in the grass, they've been rolling around in the dirt, and then they go into this room, and I said, there's no way, man, that they can keep this up, because they cram them in there. The last nerd to go in, they're pushing that motherfucker in with a broomstick, poking them in there, man. Right. As far as making money, it's hard to figure out how to keep the economy going when these things shut down, because there's so many people on the outliers who make money from this. There are vendors, there are nearby restaurants. There are people who do merch, and there are people who even show up and have tables there and whatnot. There are whole businesses that depend on Comic-Con, like depend on any kind of huge convention. So it's really hard to say that, oh, let's just take this online and see what we can do, because to your point, a great point, that's not going to help these people who don't have that, man. Everybody's going to have to figure out how to maybe do some kind of sustainable thing online or work with the social distancing rules that we have here. But I knew that San Diego Comic-Con was not going to happen the moment that I heard that the convention center, because the convention center is already full. The convention center is already full of homeless people. The convention center, this is from the San Diego Union Tribune, the convention center homeless shelter expands to 800 plus. And they got a lot of homeless in San Diego. San Diego is I'm not saying that, I'm not making light of a homeless situation. I'm not trying to say anybody like the homeless are enjoying this, but San Diego got some nice ass weather, man. They got a lot of homeless there, and those homeless, they ain't going nowhere when they get into this building right here. And nobody's gonna put them out, because the homeless is one of the biggest dangers of spreading this out there. I'm not gonna say they are the biggest, but they're up there because they're unpredictable. You know what I mean?
Well, they're also marginalized. They're like a group that isn't protected, and often, think about this, for everyone who gives money to every time they see a homeless person, how many people, be honest with yourself, see someone and try to avoid making eye contact? It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means that you realize this is a systemic problem that a couple dollars you're going to give isn't going to make a difference to. And so it comes down to what are you going to do about these people who are already marginalized and underrepresented and not protected? And they are the most vulnerable to get to this, let alone spread it to other people. Yeah.
Now, if you want to do some homeless cosplay and go down there and hang out, you can do that probably and hang out and have your own convention with that situation. If there was something good that could come out of this, the cosplayers could actually go out and maybe do some sort of online event, or I don't know what it would be. Maybe people reenact scenes with their costumes. People do costume contests. People do costume cosplay hangouts. But that is one positive that could probably come out of this. And you guys could probably get together and create this whole event that could soon become a tradition, considering that we're still not sure when this whole thing is going to end and when we can't put a date on it. But everybody's kind of pushing and pulling with this situation, and everybody's fearing about what will happen with the economy. And that is legit, man. That is truly legit. When somebody talks about the economy, people want to go in and just all of a sudden attack that person as saying, you're putting money over people's lives. You're putting profit over people's lives. I do think the economy is just as important as we're seeing with all these conventions canceling. With South by Southwest and Comic-Con, these things here, man. They with them gone, people are very much feeling the pinch, and people are losing their livelihood and their businesses. Is there a way that we can probably figure out, instead of pushing and pulling, and quit arguing, stay in? No, put people out there, go back to business. Is there a middle ground where we can say that let's use these new standards and practices to keep businesses going, but also keep people safe? There's got to be something in the middle right there, man.
Well, a lot of governors are doing it, man. And I don't want to turn this into a political thing. I got a text by my mom right before I went on here where Trump is opening the beaches in Florida. My mom's a cancer survivor. My dad's autoimmune or has immune compromised. So it's a big deal to me that it seems like on the federal level, we're getting these mixed messages, but governors are banding together and they're making protocols and outlining ways that we can restart the economy in earnest. And I think that's encouraging, because I think there is this middle ground. We can protect our citizens, the bare minimum a government's supposed to do, and also make sure that we're not letting the economy die. There is a happy medium, and we just have to have proactive leadership to get to it.